Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili nishmas Mordechai. Shalom Aleichem Harav Agoin. Rebel Lichtege. Here it goes. It's starting. Attaches a video of famous singer and account manager Adagim Tuna Fish. David Feder spreading MDY and the Daf at Cliffwood Yeshiva. Talmud Moishi J. Lakewood, New Jersey. Nedarim Daf. Hey, also a member of Hasidim for MDY. A new group, Hasidim for MDY. Here we go.
Once again, everybody together. Hey, strong.
Shy Cats, what better than Friday morning Chanukah than learning with Rebelli and a donut and coffee? Yaakov Via'al, single, here's the Segula. Join the Daf, open a stand to get people to join, give out merch. A few months ago, he was sitting there in the street giving out merch, signing people up. That's his Segula, that's why he's married today. You hear that, Mati? Givaldik. Avi Berg. The Rabbanut only certifies the imported breakfast cereals that do not contain Chodosh. The Rabbanut does not allow Chodosh into the country. Any cereals with a Rabbanut would therefore be acceptable. However, cereals with only Hashgacha from Chutz La'aretz that does not have a Rabbanut on it can be an issue. Avi. Good morning, Rebelli. When your butcher finds a kippah outside the store and then decides to practice on a good morning Rabbi side, this is the outcome. Afreich Chanukah, Laser grows, Canvey Island, United Kingdom. Your Talmud since 240 days ago, or Yevamis Daf Nun, whichever sounds better. Here goes.
Good morning, boys.
Just like it.
What? Nah, that's the whole point. It takes talent to say it.
Good morning, boys.
Okay. I'm planning to visit RBS next week and hope God willing to attend the Shiur in person. Hashem willing. In person. Maybe I shouldn't have said that word. In person on Thursday, on Friday, the 29th or the 30th. Can I get some information about Shacharit time and anything else I should know for my visit? Thank you. Shelly Wise, Dallas, Texas. We get a lot of these emails. So here it goes. There's a minyan before Shiur and there's a minyan after Shiur. Usually the minyan starts at 6:30 in the morning and after Shiur about 8:05. Baruch was always 8:18 sharp, and ever since Yosef left for his new job, the first minyan is not very recommended. The first minyan has at least 6 kohanim. The second minyan has been a struggle, although last week we had a kohen every day, Baruch Hashem. That's your plan to help us out?
Except for tonight.
We need to get somebody go outside and get a kohen. Donnie, you want to stick around?
Start a new business, right?
Now, Agar, are you staying? No, don't stay just. What? Today. Perfect. Okay, great. Okay, another thing is, everybody that comes in here, you don't have to tell this to me because everybody says the same thing. I am taller than I look on screen, and the Beis Medrash looks smaller, and I speak slower than 1.5 speed, in case you didn't chap that. It's like, why do you speak so slow? Because you sped me up at 1.5 speed, not me. Yes, we have a lot of nice people here. When you come, it's an experience. People give you a Gemara. They go out of their way. They smile at you. Most of the time, don't look for a smile from the two Avis, but you will get a smile from other people. Ishkaya. Oh, very, very. If you sit right over here, where this, what's your name? Semach Samuels from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. If you sit in this seat, try not to go like this, because if you do, Gary literally almost jumped over the table on Friday. I had to stop Shiur and contain. Okay, so yeah. Remy is okay with it. He knows how to finagle the camera a little bit different. Okay. I can guarantee you Gary will not hear that unless Yosef clips it and sends it to him. The Koilo is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. The Masechta is sponsored by Siyum, Tomechia, K'Yaakov Yael Lach. Yaakov Zaret. Where is he? He's not even here today. Lichtege chanukah from Mishpachas Zaret. Oh, yeah, okay. But his father's not here. It's a bizayin. Yerachmiel Seplowitz, Lili Nishmas, mori, Tzvi Hirsch, ben Rachmiel on his 61st Yahrtzeit. May the thousands of lomdei Daf Yomi today be zechus, nishmaso. Jeff Rosner, your buddy from Brimmore. Whatever. It's Pennsylvania. It's all the same. No, isn't it like within a 1 mile radius? Jeff Rosner, in honor of Sam Samuels, attending Shiur live. He didn't know. You didn't know that. Ah, and I didn't know either. You said your name was something else. Tzemach.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam. Okay, I got it. Okay. The first month of the art is sponsored by Namas for Lakewood. It's almost up the month. Another 2 days or so. What? Samachale. Oh, yes. I forgot to put it in. Yishkoyach. Today is Daf Samach Aleph. In honor of Stefansky Eli. Yishkoyach. Thank you. The first month of our sponsored zechus for Nisa Shiduchim. And I want to tell the Olam, my chavrusa, who doesn't get enough credit, because there's a lot of everybody gets credit, and this one does the video, and this one. But to me, the most important person in the shiur is my chavrusa, my rebbe. Without him, we wouldn't have a shiur. He did a shidduch last night. His son got engaged. And here's the kicker. He went to sleep very, very late at night. And because I was in Yerushalayim, we didn't get to learn on Shabbos. He calls me up this morning, like 4 something. He's like, you want to learn now? Like, what? What are you doing up? It's like, yeah, we didn't learn. So I figure you want to learn. So we learned for 30 minutes. He's a tzaddik. The guy's Maj a tzaddik.
What did your wife say when the phone rang?
Huh?
What did your wife say when the phone rang?
No, it's my phone, my cell phone at the other end of the house. I'm up there in tzaddik. I was learning. I have to prepare it down. What am I going to prepare it? Wow, I should be sharing you. Rabbi said, I spoke about animators. I got a few inquiries. I want to explain what I'm talking about. I'm not looking so much to hire animators today. I'm looking to figure out how to do it, how to go about it, what program do we need to use. Yoshi, who's drawing right now, how could he draw with animation in mind and put it in a program that later on we can manipulate it, things like that. We need advice more than actual animators, but animators would be great to speak to them. I got a bunch of people already I want to speak to and talk to, but don't get excited. I'm not looking to hire yet. One day, coming soon. Don't forget, go to MDYSiyum.com. The Siyum in Miami is going full-fledged. I don't know how many, a couple hundred people at least signed up. I don't know the exact number. How many, Tomer? More than 50. Tomer was always, yeah, it's what? No, 100 was the first few hours. But I think it's over 200.
If any other local Siyum are going to be happening, we should know the details. So add it.
Yeah, so add your Siyum to MDY Siyum. It's 30 days out. Okay. Rabbi Isai, here we go. We're holding Daf Samach Amud Beis all the way in the bottom. And we had a shayla like this. A guy says, here's the drawing that Yoshi did. Koinam yayin shanitoyim yoim. He doesn't say hayoim. He doesn't say yoim echad. He says yoim. I will refrain from wine for yoim. So the question is like this. Hayoim, if he says hayoim, it means until tzizik achavim, till darkness. If he says yoim echad, it means a full day, 24 hours, meis leis. Whenever he started the neder, if he started 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it goes for 24 hours until the following 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What if he takes off the hay? He drops the hay and he says yoim. What's the halacha? Tashma. Koinam yayin shanitoyim hashana. So we want to bring a raya from the word hashana, which should be similar to the word hayoim. We're talking about yoim, and we're going to see the word shana as well. So a person says, I'm not going to taste any wine. Hashana. This year, nisabra hashana. What if there's a 13th month added to the year? Asurba ubi ibura. You should know he cannot drink wine also on the 13th month, the added month. Says the Gemara Chidami. Now, isn't that a very simple halacha? That should be a given. What's the difference how many months are in the year? He said this year, it should include all months. Why do I need to say a special halacha for that? I think without the halacha, it would be pretty clear that it would include that month. If it's simple as you just read it, why do I need to say this halacha straight out? A person said, I'm not going to drink wine this year. Throw in as many months as you want into the year. I'm not drinking wine this year. Elav, Dama Shana. So we have to say, the chiddush would be, because he said the word Shana, he didn't say Hashana. Alma, Shana kahashana dami. Now, Shana, if he says Shin Nun Hey, here, let's do this. Hashana would mean until Rosh Hashanah, including everything. If he says Shana Echad, it means a full cycle, like 24 hours of a day, so it'd be until next year this time. What about if he says Shana, he drops the hay? So we're saying the chiddush is what? Yeah, not 12 months. It's not MDY, right? What about Shana? Shana would be like Hashana and not Shana Echad. That's what the Gemara is saying. That's the chiddush here. If you drop the hay, it's like you did have a hay there, and it's until Rosh Hashanah. It's not a full cycle. Meila, the same thing would be by us, by Yom and Hayom. So Yom would be like Hayom rather than like Yom Echad. So it'd be, you'd only go up until Tzeis HaGechavim, till nightfall, and you wouldn't do 24 hours if you say just Yom, you drop the hay. Alma Shana Kashana Dami. V'Yom Nami. Kayom Dinei. It's until Achetechshach. Loi. Not right. Loi Lom Damar Hashana. He said Hashana. You asked me a question. If he said the full thing, mamish, like it says it, Kipshutai. He said Hashana, so what's the big chiddush? U'ma'al the same halach achar roiv Hashanim. Most years, if you take 19 years, only 7 out of the 19 have a Iber year, have a leap year, have an extra month. So most years do not have that extra month. A lot of people are saying to themselves, thank goodness, yeah, it's a kind of tough winter's month when you have those 7 months in there. And most years don't have an extra month, Kamash Malan. And what he said, he meant. So the Ran sticks in here, in the beginning of the sugi, he sticks, the chiddush would be, or I should say in the other Amud, the chiddush would be, I believe, that even though he started all the way in the beginning of the year, he had no clue if there's going to be a leap year or not. The leap year came in many months later. So I would think he never had any intent to do a neder for 13 months. So he should only be mechuyev to do 12 months. Now that I'm thinking, I have to see how the figure, I'm just thinking now out loud with everybody because I just paid attention to it, that we'll see soon, there's a concept called Kiviyah Zman, that you know how long it's going to last. Over here you don't know how long it's going to last. Why is this considered Kiviyah Zman? Oh, I forgot to do my questions. Okay, what were my questions? I didn't write them down. I forgot what it was. What was the question? Lamashana, I guess. Oh, I feel bad. He's not here when we did the Sun sponsored. Okay. Shalom Aleichem Mishpachas Zaret. For Shleimo. What was it? Oh, here's a question I want to ask Olam. How many years total do you have with 2 yoivels? That was one of my questions. How many years are 2 yoivels? No, what's the answer? It's machloikis. Okay, so what's the obvious one? 2 times 50 is 100. And what's the other shita? It's a little tricky. How much? 2 yoivels together. 2 yoivels. A yovel is 50 years. Plus another 50 years, that's 100. That's one shita. What's the other shita? Not 102. Who said what? 99, somebody said. Who said 99? Why 99? The other one, according to one man Amar, it's 49 years. So 49 times 2 should be how much? 98. Oh, Yosef is right. It's a trick. It's tricky. It's actually 99, not 98. You think that 49 plus 49 is 98. It's not. It's 99 because, okay, well, that's the story we're going to get to. But it's interesting. According to one man, Amar, 2 yoevels is 100. According to another man, Amar, 2 yoevels is 99. Okay, says the Gemara. Yosef with his Panovich math. We both went to the same yeshiva, no? We're twins. People think he's my twin. You don't know? He did. I know. He's a. Am I allowed to say where you work? No. Oh, okay. Not even Beremez. You could get fired. If we say. He's very, very good at math. Put it that way. Says Gemara, Loi. The opposite of Panovich. If Panovich is here, he went over there for school. Loi lomdei fine. Iboilu. Omar yayin chanitoyim yovel mai. So the Ran sticks in. We don't have an answer for the first question. What he's sticking in another question, so it's a slightly different question. He says you have to stick in the word zeh. Okay. Yayin chanitoyim yovel zeh mai. Yovel is how much? About 50 years, let's say. Shnas chamishim kilifnei chamishim or kilachar chamishim. Here's a chart a little bit. So it says in the pasuk Yovel shnas chamishim. Yovel is on the 50th year. No machlokes about it. It's on the 50th year. So that kind of explains what Yosef was saying before. 49 plus. It's on the 50th year. V'lo 6 years. Fine. So when's Yovel in 50th? So I like this. Year 48, 49. 7 times 7, 49. That's a Shemitah year. 49 is a Shemitah year. Then comes Yovel. Yovel is, in the red box, year 50. Say Chachamim, the next cycle starts after Yovel. You start counting again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 48, 49, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Shitas Chacham. Rabbi Yehuda says no. It's 48, 49, Yovel, 2, 3, 4. In other words, Yovel is part of the following cycle. So it's an afgemina when a person says that he's not going to drink wine till Yovel. Does it include the Yovel or not? Is Yovel part of the next cycle, or it's the end of this current cycle? Which is it? Toshma. The sign you plugged to the Rabbi Yehuda of Rabbanon. This is a machlokes Rabbi Yehuda Rabbanon. V'kidashtem eishnas hachamishim shana. You should be Mekadesh the 50th year, and says, Yovel he. You make it a special Kedusha. It's like 2 Shmitas one after another. Shnas HaChamishim atamoyna v'atamoyna shnas chamishim v'achas. So you don't count the 50 and the 1. Mikan amru Yovel eina oila lemin shavua. Say Chachamim. Therefore, Yovel is part of the previous cycle and not from the new cycle. So therefore you start all over again. You count 1, 2, 3, 7, you get to a Shemitah. Not 2, 3, 4. You start 1, 2, 3, 4.
The next Yovel won't be Shemitah.
Huh?
The next Yovel won't be Shemitah. Shemitah will come a year earlier.
Oh, it will. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it will. So, Stam, I saw an interesting mice about Shemitah. Maybe Noam can answer this question. A guy, when you on Shemitah, you can't pay for an esrog. So what do? You do b'havla with the lulav. So a guy wanted a really, really nice esrog. So he paid, $200-300 for his lulav. Got a really, really expensive lulav. The guy gave him a $10 lulav, but he charged him $200 for it. And then he gave him the esrog for free. I was all happy, got a beautiful esrog. He comes home, and many times, the soichim happened to me, like they lick off a blet or whatever, and then you come home 2 days later, all of a sudden it turns brown, whatever. You made a boo-boo. For him it was worthless. Well, you give me a $200 esrog that has all these brown marks. He goes back to the guy. And the guy says, you didn't pay me for the esrog. You paid me for the lulav. It's like that chasana that we had. What was the name of the chasana, the famous chasana? the guy said, I'm giving you all my meals so that my father can come to the chazana. He said, okay, if so, it's hegdish. You want to play games, you want to buy a lulav for $300, you pay. So buy a lulav for $300. What are you coming back to me with the ruinette? Okay, but the psak was that he never bought al dasachi, and therefore he has to Baruch Hashem. Everybody's getting nervous. Okay, Zakti Gemara.
I can't answer that. That never happened.
That never happened. Another thing I just wanted to tell the Oilos, I thought it was very interesting. If you see these, I didn't see pictures. If somebody has a picture, it would be beautiful. But I heard about there was a parade for the Shomri Shemitah, the farmers. And I think it was like in Bnei Brak or somewhere. And you see like Charedim running over to these not such Haredi people and begging them for brachas. Like, give me a bracha, please. Like, the whole levush, the thing, the beard, the pays, the whole thing. It was very interesting. Okay? If somebody has a picture of that, I'd love to see it. Zog the Gemara. The Yovel is part of the next cycle. Says, so now here goes the argument. It says in the pasuk, Sheish shanim tizra sodecha, you should plant and reap for 6 years. Ve'en kan ela chamesh. According to you, we have a problem. So let's concentrate a second on the problem. The problem is, the Torah says that you could plant for 6 years. L'chayra, the Torah is going on the entire 50-year cycle. You should always be able to plant on all 7 Shemitahs. You should be able to plant for 6 years. But according to you, Rabbi Yehuda, it comes out like this. Look, this is what's going on here. You have a Yovel. Immediately after Yovel is year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Shemitah. So how many blue boxes do we have here? We only have 5 boxes. The Torah says you should have 6 boxes. You always could plant for 6 years. Now, this is only a problem in the final cycle of the 49-year cycle. What? The first cycle. Okay, the first cycle. 1 out of 7. You're right. It's the first cycle. 1 out of 7. But the Chacham say it's a problem. I need it to be consistent. The Torah says Shei Shonim Tizra Sodecha. Every single cycle you should be able to plant for 6 years. And here we have a problem. We only have on the first cycle 5 years. Omar lehem. So he answers L'Divreichem. Harei Oimer v'Asas Esatvua L'Shloisha Shanim. Your Akash Baruch Hu promises Klal Yisrael, if you keep Shemitah, you're going to plant on the 6th year, and you're going to have food for 3 years. The end of the 6th, Shemitah, and the beginning of the 8th. So it's 3 years. Harekan Arba. But according to you, says Rabbi Yehuda, it comes out 4 years. The first year is the 6th year of the Shemitah when you're planting, of the last cycle. The actual Shemitah year is the 2nd year that you need the crop to be good for. It's almost like Mitzrayim. You're planting once, and this has to last you for 4 years. How? You plant in year 48, which is the 6th year of the final cycle, just as a mashal, not a mashal because you have Yovel there, so that's how it is. That's year number 1 that the crop is good for, because at the end of the year you need to eat. Year number 2 is the actual Shemitah, which you can't plant anything, so it's a whole full year. Year number 3, Yovel. According to you, but here's the thing. According to Rabbi Yehuda, we have the same exact problem. But Rabbi Yehuda is saying, L'shitascha, that you need to be consistent on all 7 cycles. So here we have a problem. On the final cycle, the Torah would have to say that the crop lasts for 4 years, not for 3 years. Now, Rabbi Yehuda has the same problem. He's not going to gain anything. It does have to last for 4 years. But he holds that what? The Torah only meant 6 out of the 7. And Memela, it's going to answer the first question. The Torah only meant 6 out of the 7 when it came to that it says Vasas Sheish, that you have to, you should plant 6 years. It's only 6 out of the 7 cycles. Elo, what do you have to say? It's not talking about every single 7-year period. It's only 6 out of the 7. Linami. So this that you asked me a second ago, that says in the Torah that you should plant for 6 years. And according to you, Rabbi Yehuda, we have this problem on the chart. It only comes out 5 years, but that's only when the first cycle, the first 7 years. Okay, so the Torah didn't mean the first. The Torah meant 6 out of 7. End of story. Huh?
How did you get to 99?
I can't explain it now. I don't think I could ever explain it. Because, what? It is right. Yosef, explain it to him.
You have 49 and then
49, 49.
right.
Yeah, you have a full
You start
50.
counting from the next one. You have 50.
Every cycle of the Shemitah, every cycle will be after 49 years.
It is. I'm telling you, I went through it. It's
You have a full 50, and then you have 49 more.
The first cycle.
He's talking about even the second and the third. Even if you start in the second, third, it works out like that. Ada Pesach Asur. Person says, I'm going to refrain from wine up until Pesach. Now, it's not exactly clear what he said. Ada Pesach can mean until the first day of Pesach. It can mean until the second day of Pesach, the third day, the last day of Pesach. It's not 100% clear what he said, what he meant. So the L'chayra comes out that it's Remeir. We have to remember the name and what he says because the Gemara is going to flip it. It comes out from our Mishnah. The Remeir says a person doesn't get himself into something that's not clear. A person is very clear what he wants. And Memela, we're going to say that what he meant 100% is up until Pesach, not including Pesach. So we don't have any sveikas. L'sveika. Rabbi Yossi Sover, Ma'ilinish Nafshei L'sveika. Rabbi Yossi is the one who says it's not a problem. People put themselves into a suffix. We just turned to Samach Aleph Amud Beis. We have a brand new turning of the Daf sponsor, Greg Haber. For Bracha Parnas Hatzlacha, for his entire family and everyone learning the Daf, that means us also. Amen. Rabbi Yossi Sover, Ma'ilinish Nafshei L'sveika. Oh yeah, I did, but I forgot. What's the second one? Hatzlacha for the members of HBA group and their families. Amen. What's the HBA group? Are we allowed to know? Anonymous. Okay, one day we'll find out. Very meaning. Here's a picture. Finally, got a Yoshi. Here's a shver. Has a bunch of daughters. They have a chassan. Now, I didn't have a chance to tell Yoshi that this picture might be a little off according to the Ran. A little off. Not a lot. According to the Ran, we're talking about 4 girls. Now, it could be the Ran is talking about a minimum, not a maximum. According to Rashi, this works well. Rashi, or the Mefarish, he says there's a bunch of girls, there's middle ones. The bottom line is, okay, I would have drawn it a little different, but I didn't do the sugi yet when he drew it. So, basically, this guy, the shver on the left, he married 2 women. Huh? He's always not the shver, he's the shver. The guy on the left, he married 2 women. He had a set of girls from the first wife, and then later on he married a second wife, and he set another girls. So the girls from his second wife all of them are younger than all the girls from the first wife. Now, he accepted kiddushin, they're all ktanos. He has the right to accept kiddushin for whoever he wants. He accepted kiddushin for the g'dayla. Who's the g'dayla? We don't know. There's only one thing we know. We only know that the youngest of the second group, she's not a g'dayla. But the oldest in the second group, she's a g'dayla. She's the oldest of the second group. She's the roish l'shualim. No, he's allowed to accept midaraisa. The ktanis, all ktanis. Oh no. The g'dayla, I mean the oldest of the group. Yeah. Sorry, I know. I said straight out before. We're talking about ktanis here. The midaraisa. G'dayla means the oldest. He said, I'm accepting it for the oldest of my daughters. Now, which one did he mean? Did he mean from group A or group B? Maybe he meant the oldest of the oldest, or maybe he meant the oldest of the youngest, or maybe he meant the youngest of the oldest, but she's still older than everybody else from the second group. He for sure, only one girl we know that he didn't mean. So Mela, there's a big suffix here. Now, according to what we said, the Rachmiel says, I don't get myself involved in a suffix. So he should, we should know what he meant. He meant the oldest of the oldest. The oldest from the group of the older girls, that oldest one. But that's not what it says here. And they're all ketanos. My oldest girl, I accepted Kiddushin for her. And I don't remember. I'm mamish confused. The oldest of the oldest, or the oldest of the second group, of my second wife, the ones that are now home with me. Or maybe he meant the youngest of the first group, of the older girls. She's actually older than any girl from the second group. Kulon asuros. He put himself into a suffix, and because he put himself in a suffix, they're all us or they're Rachmiel. Rachmiel now, Rashi says a person doesn't put himself in a suffix. We have a big problem. Now, she's usher. It's very interesting. Ram points out, all these girls are usher, even to this man. Forget about the usher of the whole world. They're usher of the whole world. Why? Because they might be married to this guy standing there with the ring in his hand. But they're also usher to the guy with the ring in the hand. Why? Maybe my sister is married to that guy, so I can't be married to him either. So kids are, fact that Tsaras, I guess they need a get. Huh? You could kill him, it's fine. Elvis will kill him, Elia will talk him out of it. Get. What? Yeah, but Rabbi Yossi says the opposite. It doesn't make sense that also Rabbi Yossi is switching his shita. And Rachmiel says, there's one girl out of the whole group that we don't have to worry about, the youngest of the young group. Okay, Rabbi Yossi says, fakir to what we said over here. Kulon mutaros, chutz min hagdolos shebigdolos. No, we have to assume that he didn't want to put himself into such a suffix. He didn't say a name. He didn't say Chava, Leah, nothing. He said the oldest of the old. Okay, so he meant if we had to go into his mind, just like over here by Pesach, he probably meant up until Pesach. Let's not get into any shilas. So what do we do here? We have a contradiction. On the one hand, in our sugya it says Rachmiel doesn't go into a suffix. In that sugya it says Rachmiel does go into a suffix. Over here it says Rabbi Yossi goes into suffix, and that's Rabbi Yossi doesn't go to suffix. What do we do? Now, before I tell you the answer, I just want to tell you a very interesting shaila. Another very interesting shaila. A guy was marrying a goya. Okay, he wasn't religious, marrying a goya, but because he had good tradition, he wanted the goya to be married with a chuppah, kiddushin, a ceremony with a rabbi, the whole thing. Okay, so the Edom come. The rabbi said, fine. Years later, they both decided to do tshuva. He became Baal Tshuva, and during the process, they found, wait a minute, she's not even a goya. I thought she's a goya, she's not a goya. Her mother, it doesn't go by the father, it goes by the mother. The mother's a Jew, grandma's Jewish, she's a Jew. So we had a very interesting shayla. But they did a chuppah, they did kiddushin, they had eidim, they had a ksuba, everything. Did that work? Can you go back retroactive and say that worked? There was a Jewish marriage going on. No, what does Dailam say? You guys say why not? He says not. You're going to argue with the Rosh Kollel? What? What? Okay, whatever. Fine. He got paid well. Whatever, he did it. Wow. Yeah. So the answer is, I think the Rav Zilstein says that it was a Meiser Shkamat. No, it's a Meiser Shkamat. That the Eidos, there's a chesaron in the Eidos. There wasn't good Eidos then. And at that time, they weren't being made on Jews, they were being made on Goyim. They knew that they're Goyim. At least in their mind, they thought that they were being made on a Goy. Therefore, there's a chesaron in the Eidos. That's what he says. Okay, got to get remarried. Agopan, what do you do over here? Arim Chanina bar Avdimi, very convenient. Omar Rav says, Muchlefes Hashita. Eina Chanami. We have a contradiction in the sugyas. What do? We have to switch the shita. In other words, in our Mishnah, we're going to flip it and say that it's not Rachmiel that said that a person doesn't go with a suffix. When a person says, I'm not going to drink wine until Pesach, he might mean until the end of Pesach, according to Rameir, not the beginning of Pesach. We have to switch Rameir in our Mishnah. I don't know. Oh, in a second we'll see why. V'tanya, and a raya to this, Zaklal. Kol shezmane kavua v'omar alefnei. What does zmane kavua mean? Zmane kavua means not that it comes every year at the same time in the calendar, but zmane kavua means I know the duration. I know it's going to be Pesach 7 days. Lafuke, let's say harvest. I don't know how long the harvest is going to last for. But what's the svara? So the Ran says a person doesn't want to get himself into a neder. He doesn't know how long it's going to last. He only goes into a neder that's very, very specific. It's defined. I know it's 7 days in Shalom Alay. Fine. But what does it say here? V'omar ad lifnei, and he said the words up until, or ad lifnei, over here we see Mefurish, or Meir says, that's why by us in our Mishnah we have to switch it, because Meir is the one that says it goes until the end of Pesach, not the beginning of the Pesach like it says in our Mishnah. We have to switch it around. Now, I just want to point out something very interesting. I thought it was interesting. The Ran brings another sugya in Kiddushin that seems to say the opposite than our sugya here. And the Ran says, so how do you paskin, like Mesechus Kiddushin or Mesechus Nedarim? And he says, very interesting, because we're dealing with Nedarim, we have to paskin like Mesechus Nedarim. You hear this? You can see it in here. It's the top over here. 3 lines from the top. Okay, just thought it's interesting. Way to paskin in a different way. The Rambam paskins like that also. That's why the Rambam paskins like our sugya, not like the sugya in Kiddushin. Okay, says the Mishnah. Are we holding there? Yes. The official Mishnah, sponsored by Alan Kahn, memory of Yocheved Mina Bat Avraham. Says the Mishnah. Person says, I'm not going to drink wine until we reap the wheat, adabatzar, until we reap the grapes, adamasing, until we reap the olives. And he also elachi agia, up until when it comes the time to reap these fruit. Zaklal. Kol shezman kavua. Now, reaping, there's no kvios. It could take sometimes a year, sometimes it takes 2 years. 2 years. It'll take a week, 6 weeks, whatever it is. But it's not kavua. If it's very specific, like Pesach, so it means he meant to say up until Pesach. And if he says the words until it is, then it's until it's over. But like reaping, which doesn't have a kvios, there's no specific defined time. In both cases, as the Ran explains, a person doesn't want to be in the unknown. He only makes a neder what he knows about, and therefore, regardless of what his lashon is, if he says until it comes or until it is, it's until it comes. Now, this is the other question I wanted to ask. I forgot. Okay, but here it is. The Ran brings the Yerushalmi, discusses, what about a wedding? Is a wedding considered a defined time or not a defined time? And the question would be, over here it's not so much the duration, but when it comes, because a wedding can be pushed off. Since it could be pushed off, is it considered a zman kavu or not? And the Yerushalmi goes, says you got to go to the Chumrah. Okay. Says the Gemara, says the Mishnah. Huh? I know, but since it could be, so it's not kavod.
It's never this one.
Does he mean literally until a wedding? Unfortunately, I mean, maybe in those days they used to push it off more. I don't know. Adakites. This might be, I don't know if this is why we call the summer kites in Hebrew, but adakites means until you cut the figs off a tree. And the way you take a fig off the tree is with your hand. It's hand-picked. You rip it off. You don't use the scissors or anything. So it's called kites. Achia kites. Until or Ad hakayitz, ad shia kayitz. What does it mean? Ad sheyatchilu om lahachnis v'kalkolois, until here's a guy taking figs, putting it into a basket. Meaning, just because there's some guy that jump started the process 2 weeks earlier, doesn't mean that's when his nether ends. It ends when when people in general, the farmers, the people that have fig trees, when they start collecting them in a large amount that goes into a basket. If a person says until it's over with, so what would you and I think? What does it mean it's over with? When people finish taking off the figs from the tree. No, that's not what it means. There's a special knife. This is that picture that person sent me. I forgot already who it is. This was unbelievable. This 3,000-year-old urn that they found with igulei dvela. The strings we learn in Cheder when we're young kids, right? Even these kids know what igulei dvela is. The figs, they put them on a rope, and then they harden. Then they take a knife, like a large foldable knife, I don't know what it looks like, and they cut the igulei dvela and they make slices out of it. So in other words, it's not when you take the figs off the tree, it's months later maybe. I don't know how long this process takes. How long does it take to take figs, dry them out, put them in an urn, and then cut it? It could take who knows how long. For sure, weeks, right? Until the figs dry. That's when the season is over. That's until then is his nether. Let's try to do as much as we can here. 1 minute. Tana. It's not a guy with a basket of grapes like you see in the picture here, but dafka figs. Why? Because grapes come off the tree with a knife, with some sort of device. Tanya, I know either like this, you see, like a scissors. Tanya, I know them in Paris hakayitz and also elabata'inim. Over here it says mufurish, if a person makes a nether from Paris kayitz, it means figs, because that you take off with your hand. No, it also includes grapes. Because grapes you don't reap with your hand, you use a tool. When they start miradidon, when they become dry, then you also take the grapes off by hand, and memela is considered part of the nether. When you say you're going to refrain until kayitz, means also grapes. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day.